90.5 FM KSJS San Jose. I'm Judas, and you're at the dawn of the trail. When I was on the radio at San Jose State, on Tuesdays after I finished my shift, I did a 6 to 10 a.m. Morning drive. I woke people up after I would finish my shift and put away my CDs and everything back in the library that I used for the show. I would go to Lenny's. It's not there anymore in San Jose. It was a dive bar that all these frat kids that want to go to dive bars, they didn't go there. They went to the Cinnabar, what Vizanko called the Sin Bar. They went to another one, the Caravan, where, you had some of the dregs of society in there, but they weren't so dangerous. So these frat kids would go to those places and just say, we were at the dive bar the other night. And of course, you're going to see somebody fall down or somebody digging through somebody's purse. Something's going to happen. But they didn't go to Lenny's, because the very first time I went to Lenny's, I don't know if pure legend had told me about the place or if I just went there on my own. But there was a woman and her friend, big woman and her friend, at the end of the bar, and they were talking. And I came in and I sat down, and they had Olympia Oli in a bottle, which was, my favorite beer to drink at the time. It's very good in a bottle, but then they did away with the bottles, I heard. And then they just started serving cans at Lenny's, and it wasn't the same. Got my drink. I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, something like that. You can go for a beer. A lot of people have cocktail lunches. I just got off my shift on the radio. Time to just relax a minute. And they had engaged me in a conversation somehow because I probably said something. And I was part of it. But the one woman, the big woman, she was laughing, said how she was in prison because she found out her boyfriend was cheating on her, and she shot him in the nuts with a shotgun and went to prison for it. I don't know. I guess cheating is fair. You got to be a man of your word. Or you might get shot in the nuts with a shotgun by some angry lover. So that's the kind of place that was. And I think I actually had one woman called two different people in to fucking take me out the one night when I was in there later in the evening. She don't like me. Not one bit. So it's not the place where people would just go screw around. Actually, in that very same bar, Jim, the bartender, I saw him on TV the one time, because one of those people every 6 months, you find out children come up missing, and people start walking their kids to school, because kids are showing up missing. There was a little girl that escaped. She was duct taped and tied up in the back of this guy's car as he went into the store, and somehow she got out, and she was a 10-year-old girl. I think she was bouncing down the road, and people saw her and said, what the hell is this? they caught that guy. And so they talked to Jim because it turned out that was a regular place he would go, the guy that was taking kids. And Jim, the bartender, he had bad hearing, if you know who I'm talking about. But he said, oh yeah, I remember him. He says, quiet, tipped well. That was his description of the guy. No problem at all here. But he was stealing people's little girls and kids and killing them and stuff. And he was a local. And those are the only people that disappear in Gaylord, are people that know you or that somebody knows. But then, you know, they catch the guy, and so that was his TV interview was saying he was a good guy, good customer, you know. What are you asking of me? He was quiet. He tipped well. But then, you know, after that guy gets caught, people get slack, and another 6 months go by, and another bunch of kids start turning up missing. It just follows because nobody ever remembers what fucking happened before. But the one day I walked in to Lenny's there after my show, and there would always be different people, and there was this big guy standing there, big white dude, obviously, just something about him. He's sitting at the bar, and I sat near him, and I started to engage in the conversation, and hearing his accent and hearing things he talked about. I used to be pretty good at this. I could tell you where you were when, at what time in the world. And I looked at him and I said, you were part of the Nazi youth. And he looked at me and he said, yes. And he just looked like he felt terrible about it because of how things turned out. He was in Germany. He was the Nazi youth, you know, the blonde-headed kids. And then there was another guy I talked to once in the place where I was working. He was a truck driver, and I recognized his accent and guessed at the time. I said, well, you must have been in Germany at the time. He said, yes. And I said, what do you think of that? And he said, Hitler gave us cigarettes back again because their economy was so fucked up. That was the answer. Hitler gave us cigarettes back again. And so really, as it turns out, he wasn't happy. He felt terrible about the way things turned out. Some things you just can't take back. And you think about it, what's more important? Your cigarettes, your economy, or your ability to exhale and put a thought into the air that you're breathing. This is the freedom we talk about that they do want to take away. And don't make any mistakes. You think you're okay. But it's just like in the stand where that one guy, everybody was friends in the lunchroom until somebody did something or said something wrong, and they all just turned and murdered him. All you have to do is say one thing wrong that you might not even know is wrong, but if they take it the wrong way, you're out. You're out. That's why they need all these concentration camps, because there won't be enough room in the prisons for the rest of us. And the thing is, this is your opportunity. I know everybody lives in the now, like a little girl was fucking killed yesterday and they found the guy, and then everything's back sunshine, everything's happy. But this is your chance to decide. Do you want to be happy and amiable, friendly with your family members? Do you want to be familiar with people in the future? Or do you want to regret the mistake that you made because now your daughter just had an ectopic presidency, an ectopic pregnancy, and now she's gonna die. That little girl with the long legs, she's pretty. They're all pretty. Everybody's kids are. You're gonna regret that because that's more than likely your future. You're gonna find something to regret. There isn't going to be as much money coming to you as you think you deserve, having been told what you've been told. And all the money you spent put into credit for firearms and like proper firearms and trucks, somebody's going to come to collect. Elon will be coming to collect your payment when you can't make the bills anymore. And so, that's my giant antique show festival dictionary. And here it is. You want to hear what it is? I'll tell you. If you've made it this far, you might be interested. You probably quit when I started asking questions. But here, look. Oh, this is Webster's. I know everybody wants. They act like I'm doing a fucking radio show here or something. They say, "Where? Show me, show me." I'm like, I'm not spending enough time on this stuff to share all the information that you have access to. You gotta believe me. If I'm saying it, it's because I've seen it written down, or if I'm saying it just as a joke, you'll know it. You're supposed to. Or has it come to the time that everybody's a retard now? Fucking morons. Is everybody a moron, Grandpa? Well, most people. But this is Webster's Dictionary. First done in 1909. I think this was a copy from, they have different editions. I think this one was from 54. But I opened it up, and there it is. There's the word right there. The bottom of the page. Top right of the page says fascial and fast. Fascial is at the top left, and fast is at the bottom. But over here on the left, I found it. It's fascism. 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 You want to know what fascism is? Fascism is. I'm going to read it to you right out of the fucking dictionary. When words meant something. It's from fascio, a political group, an organization, a club, from Latin fascis, a bundle or packet. They're just a big gob of shit, all put in together in a packet. Looks good on paper. So the first definition, fascism, the principles, teachings, or government of the fascisti, the Italian fascist movement. Also, any similar principles or methods found in other countries. So Hitler liked Mussolini. There are your Italian, German connections if you need to make them, but it also spreads over here. It's got that possibility. Number two, fascism. Any centralized system of government which exercises absolute control over industry, commerce, and finance, and which advocates strongly nationalistic principles. Nationalism, jingoism. I think we're on the way to jingoism at this point. It's not just about America, it's about fucking your people. Strongly nationalistic policies imposes strict censorship. We won't be hearing from each other in another couple of weeks if you get your way. And suppresses all opposition. Lock them up. As I said before, he's talking about firing squads. He's also talked about, that poor guy has also talked about he could get away with killing somebody on Fifth Avenue. People would still vote for him. It's my opinion that he will, if he wins. I'm not talking about winning the election, because he's not going to stop after that. He's going to go until he wins, or he's going to fucking have a stroke, and people are going to act like they've got mediums, and he's telling them what to do to keep the future going. It's going to be some screwball shit no matter what happens. But if he wins, I predict he will have firing squads set up on Fifth Avenue for the biggest of his enemies. And they'll start that day with them. Maybe it'll only take an hour. But you know what? It went so well. Why not do an hour every day? So we'll bring in another 70 people tomorrow at high noon and just shoot them down. And if you know a neighbor, if you have a relative, if you know anyone who had a Harris sign in their yard, I don't. It's because I don't need to tell you what I think. You can see it from here. Anybody that's got a Trump sign in their front yard is just screaming out to public, just like those with the flags on their trucks. Don't tread on me, and trying to run people over in traffic. They want to be heard. It's just desperate the way they do this stuff. It's sad. They need to be heard. And they've got so much rage within them that they carry around from day to day. They're just waiting for someone to give them a chance. I know that feeling. I've had it. Just give me a chance to unleash upon your ass. Don't make me go airborne on your ass. I'm actually quite calm compared to what it is I am. You want to fuck with me? You need to show people how angry you are all the time. Fascism. There are no happy citizens left after that.